today's virtual summit, 4 pillars of entrepreneurship. We promote the area of health, wealth, personal growth, and business development. And that's our 4 pillar. And today we are happy to have Dr. Stacey Cooper with us. Due to suffering her own health crisis, rediscovery of what it takes to be healthy in this crazy world led Dr. Stacey to ultimately find the way to restoring her health naturally. As a result, Dr. Stacey has dedicated her life of giving you the gift of great health too. Dr. Stacey's passion is to share with you how your body functions on the inside so that you can heal your health through nourishing your mind, body, and spirit naturally. And this is the title of her latest book. And Dr. Stacey is an inspirational keynote speaker and educator. She is the founder of Lifestyle Balance Solutions, #1 international best-selling author of What Self-Love Got to Do with It, award-winning author of Heal Your Health, top international female author for Healthy Fuels Cookbook, and creator of the Heal Your Health Blueprint. And Dr. Stacey is the 4th generation doctor of chiropractic with clinical experience which spans over 23 years. Dr. Stacey's mission through her nonprofit WIN Foundation is to eliminate the type 2 diabetic epidemic globally. And Dr. Stacey is married to her high school sweetheart, Dean, and have 4 children. So welcome, Dr. Stacey Cooper. I'm so happy to have you here joining us today. So
thank you so much. I'm so excited.
You're welcome. And can you tell us a little bit about your journey into self-love?
Well, it certainly was a journey, Annie, and this is such a topic that needs to be opened up in discussion and shared with so many people, because I know that I am not the only one who experiences this and had experienced it. And I'm able to share with others how to come out the other side. So in regards to self-love, I wasn't experiencing that. I wasn't practicing it. And at the time, this was many years ago, almost 19 years ago now, I felt that I was a superhuman being. I had superpowers. I could do it all. I could care for my children, my husband, my family, my partners around me, my business partners, my patients, and I could do it all. And that is the mindset that I was coming from, that it was also expected of me to be able to manage and do it all.
Like a superwoman.
Yes. And so I was a human doer rather than a human being. I didn't allow myself to be present in the moment. I didn't allow myself to experience things in that instant, in that moment, and share true time with those that I was with. And what I was doing instead was doing during those moments, but also thinking about what's next in the next event I have to do. How packed was my schedule? And so I was not practicing any self-love at all, because I was really running my body into the ground, physically, mentally, emotionally. And that's what led to my health crisis.
Right. That's a wake up call for you then. Right?
Truly was.
And tell me more about what happened. What was the situation that you suddenly just, not suddenly actually, you get that wake up call? Was it physically or? Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was everything. Your body, nothing happens in isolation. There isn't one thing that causes a situation. There isn't one thing that took you to that place. There isn't one thing that's going to bring you all out. Mm-hmm. Your body is a miraculous mechanism that adapts to every single situation, environment, every experience that you have. Your body is adapting And the reason it does this is because of survival of the fittest. This is the key component of your body and your whole well-being. And when your life experiences, you have stressors. Every life experience can be either positive or negative. And, you would think that the birth of a baby would be a positive stressor. It's a joyful event, but it's still a stressor.
Mm-hmm.
The loss of a loved one or a change in job position, that can be a stressor, and oftentimes a negative fashion. Mm-hmm. So both of those situations take you away from that middle homeostasis point, which is what your body is trying to attain all the time. It wants to maintain that homeostasis. But when you have these stressors that are happening, positive and negative all the time, and taking you away from that balance point, then that's when your body has to try to adapt. And the key component that I would love everyone to hear today is that your body adapts, but it has a finite limit of adaptation. And when you take it too far out of that balance and you reach that edge, that's when the wheels can fall off the bus. That's when everything falls apart.
Right. Good. So, what was that big shift that happened to you? For you. I know you have young children, and then you have aging parents, and your work. And tell us more about that story. And
for sure. And this is exactly what I share in my book, What's Self-Love Got to Do with It? Mm-hmm. And so in this book, I share my personal experience, how everything compounded. So yes, I was working with my dad. I am a fourth generation practitioner. My great-grandfather started the practice in 1912. Mm-hmm. And so I had the opportunity to share the practice with my dad. I already had 2 children at home with my husband, Dean, and I was expecting our 3rd child. And in November, my dad took sick. This was 2000, the year 2000.
20 years.
He took sick and wasn't well. Yes, almost, yeah. And he wasn't able to practice anymore. And so that change in job position meant that I had to now look after his patients too. I also had to look after the business aspect of it all, whereas we had shared some of those responsibilities, now it all fell to me. So that's one stressor. Then fast forward to January, my husband and I, we were looking for a new home as our family was growing, and we purchased our forever country home, which is where we live now. That was all fine and good, thinking that life was going to be as it was. Well, life has a tendency to not do that. So now we have the purchase of a new home. I'm packing up the home because I know that when we're going to move, I'm already going to have a brand new baby with me. So I'm doing as much work ahead. But I'm also working in the office 50 hours a week now because I'm covering my practice and my dad's. Mm-hmm. So fast forward to March, and this is when Derek is due to arrive. And of course, it's just me in the office, so I hire someone else to come in to look after our patients for my short maternity leave. And on that Friday, when I look back in hindsight, my labor actually started at 7:30 in the morning. Mm. And at 3:10, I was still in the office adjusting patients and training the new person, introducing him to the patients and welcoming him into the practice. Mm. I drove myself home at 3:10, and Derek was born at home on our bed with the midwives watching as Dean delivered him at 4:28.
Wow.
I think I was working just a little too hard. Right?
Yes, that's a lot of stressors.
Well, that's not the end of it. So 9 days later, my dad ends up in the hospital in Hamilton. He's there for 8 weeks. He ends up passing away in the hospital. So you can see how every single one of these life events is building, and building. Yes. And not once my mom ever think that he wasn't coming home. So she was completely devastated. Mm-hmm. There were no funeral arrangements made. He was only 57 years old.
Oh.
I also delivered his eulogy, and that was on the Thursday, and on the very next Monday I was back to work. So no wonder my body in August finally said, that's it, I'm not doing this anymore. And that's when my crisis struck.
Right.
So having been given the second chance to come through that and out the other side, and then to dive into, even with all the education I had as a doctor of chiropractic and all of the diagnosis and symptomatology and pathology and histology and all of that stuff, I still wasn't prepared enough to be able to manage everything that my body was going through. And that's when I took the time now to study, to research, to test, and to feel out and put together a system where you too can balance your life and heal your health naturally. And that's what I've been able to do. And that's why I'm so blessed for my second chance, because I know now that my purpose is truly this, to be able to share it with others.
Right, because you have gone through that and you know there's a way out, and now you share it with others. Right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I can share it with you too.
Like, I actually have a copy of your book. Let me do. There it was. Yes, here. I got a copy. Actually, I'm interested in one of the chapter. It says, it just intrigues me, like with the title, it says, why diets don't work.
I know.
They
don't.
Just give me something, like without reading the detail, just tell me. It's a catchy title. Why diets don't work.
It is a catchy title, but it's the truth. And for anyone who's interested in the book, you can absolutely receive a copy of the book. Just go to healyourhealthbook.com and you can receive it right there. In regards to why diets don't work, the physiology of how your brain and how your body functions is incredible. And this is what I love to teach, because when people understand what happens on the inside, it's so much easier to make your choices when I guide you how to swap out what I call those bad fuels for great healthy fuels, so your engine can run like a high octane machine. But in regards to diets, the reason why they don't work is because when you go back and think in history, it's your body's sole purpose is to create more of you, procreation, that's to keep the species alive and going. And the second thing is survival of the fittest. The weak don't make it. And so survival of the fittest means that you get rewarded when you do things that enhance your survival. So as hunters and gatherers way back when, you wouldn't go searching for iceberg lettuce because it would take a lot of effort and you would get very little calorie return, very little reward for the survival of you, because it's not very calorie dense. But you would get great reward for finding ripe fruits and berries and fresh greens, things that are really going to fill your body. And of course, the wild meat that you would catch at that time, way back when. So that's the reward cascade. There's a mechanism in your brain that will reward you when things that you do take your existence in a positive direction. Now, when you are on a diet and you're eating those stupid salads all week and you've given up all of your favorites and you're depriving yourself, well, that hard-earned effort deserves a reward. And there's your cheat day. It's built right in. It's hardwired in your brain. So what I have done is being able to come up with recipes that are healthy, delicious, nutritious, easy, and all of my kids can make them and they enjoy eating them too. And if they didn't, it doesn't make it into my cookbook. And so when you learn how to fuel your body with good, healthy fuels, now you get to have your favorites like chocolate chip cookies and chocolate cake. And Annie, I know you've tried the chocolate cake too. And it takes 7 minutes to make. And it's delicious.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not so much into cooking, but yeah, if you tell me, it'll only take 7 minutes and you're going to have something really healthy, yeah, I would try. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the whole point. Because when you deprive yourself, then you deserve that reward. And the same thing goes for exercise, actually. When you are starting a new health plan and you want to start to put more physical activity into your daily life, and right now I'm creating a brand new program. It's called 10 Down, 10 Days, and you can find that at 10down10days.com, 10down10days.com. And in there I talk about, if you are going to start to include some physical activity, make sure it's something that you like to do. Because if you hate jogging and you decide that you're going to start jogging, but you hate it, there's your first excuse to not do it. And then you sabotage all of your healthy living goals.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, choose I like something you're passionate about, right? Like in exercise. Like I'm not much of a jogger, but like I like gentle exercise, but well, I used to do like lots of the core and cardio type, but now I like those that's soft, but actually you can get a lot of it. Like slow movement doesn't necessarily mean that you're not really exercising everything. I think the mind has a lot to do with it, right?
It has everything to do with it. Again, nothing happens in isolation of the body. Everything is connected. And a study has been done, 2 groups of people. And when one group was told to take the 5-kilometer walk, and this was a chore and, a walking activity, and you need to go do this, and then we'll meet you in the hall afterwards. And the second group was told, go and enjoy this amazing path, see the sights, listen to the birds, experience the time, and we'll see you back in the other room. At the end of it all, the group that viewed it as a job and a chore rewarded themselves with more calories in the hall afterwards. So make sure it's something that you like to do, because then the activity itself is the reward itself, and you don't need to eat extra calories.
Yes. Yeah, like me, I enjoy walking and out in the trail and see the beautiful scenery and fresh air, right? So
it plays a huge part in mindset.
Right. And what is the priority set list that the biggest thing that you have changed since your health crisis? Okay.
Exactly.
So what is that priority? What do you have to change first, right?
Yes. The very first thing that I tell my clients to shift is mindset is number 1 in believing that you are worth it, that you need to put you at the top of your priority list. So you know that during the course of your day, there's a list of tasks that you need to accomplish. You write out that list and you tick them off as it goes. And you might choose to do something for yourself, and that'll be at the bottom of the list most typically. If you want to do a yoga class or whatever it happens to be. But you also know that there's not enough day for the list. You run out of daytime before your list is completely finished. So tomorrow, the list gets shifted over to the next day, but it doesn't start from where it left off. It often gets reprioritized. And the thing that you wanted to do for you gets dropped to the bottom again, which means it never gets accomplished. So the very first thing I share with my clients is you are worth it. If you don't look after you, no one else is going to do it for you. And that's the short lesson that I share in my book, What Self-Love Got to Do with It. And so when you start to make that shift, and then I talk about the plan. The plan is where you schedule your week, your daily activities. So you know that you perhaps may have work hours, like at your job, or if you have a physical place that you have to go to, you know what your work shift hours are. So those I would ink in, not pencil, because pencil can be erased, but they're inked in because you have that commitment. The very second thing that gets put on the plan is my self-care routine. The things that I'm doing for me in order to be able to de-stress, to re-energize, to fill my cup, and to be a better version of me. Because when I look after me first, this is not being selfish. This is enabling me to give so much more to everyone else around me. Because before, I was doing everything for everybody else and nothing for me. And I was living a life of fatigue, frustration, exhaustion, and living a life that I did not love. And this is the biggest shift that you can make for you, is put you on the top of your priority list, start to re-energize your own being, start to bring calm and peace and physical health, mental health, financial health, and relationship health into your own personal existence. And with this, your entire life will change, because we're energetic beings.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when that negative Nelly walks in the room, you can feel that energy. And when you start looking after you first, your energy too will change. And the best part is, others around you will notice that, and they will start to respond to you differently too. And those relationships will change. It is such far-reaching effects. So I encourage everyone to do that.
Yes, that's actually so true. Like, because when I listen to you, that you have gone through your own crisis, like with the family and other issue, it actually happened just around the same time. Like for me, for myself, my personal journey, it was 20 years ago. And that's when I had started my business about 4 years, right? And then that was like just a couple years after my divorce and all that. Like, so my health was going downhill. Like everything were not running. Like, yeah, like as same as what you said, it just total burnout. But I never really think of it that way. What's the step and to do? But I just knew I had nothing more to give. But then I have my child to take care of as a single parent. I thought the only way is for me to get my health back, because I cannot handle it. So that's why the priority was my health. But I didn't notice, like no one come and teach me saying, yes, like change your mindset, change your priority and all that. I was to a point that I have no options. Like I have to get my health back. And that's what I did. So all my planning, the schedule, like, yeah, it's just automatic. I have to do my exercise, because I felt like awful, like for the whole day if I didn't move. So it came to me like that. But now with your book, now it's more like a guide to people, because I believe that it does work, because I experienced it. But I just felt so bad that 20 years ago I didn't have someone like you, like as a guidance, like what to do. You kind of going around circle trying to find a way to get out, right? Yeah. But,
yes. And so, now when you have a guide, exactly as you say, that will fast track you to getting on track easily and healthfully. Right? You don't have to figure it out on your own. Everything is right there. And partnering together, it makes it so easy. And don't you wish that you had something like that at your disposal, at your fingertips when you were going through it? It would have made it so much easier for you.
Yes. I think it took me about 5-6 years to get off it, to get my health back to, like, not back to it. It's actually surpassed what I had even when I was a teenager. Right? Because I start thinking back, I said, why was I so happy and so active? I was into sports, I was into music. When I was a teenager, I thought that was my happiest time. So I wanted to go back. And then I started doing things that I used to love when I was a teenager, because those were the happiest time that I was in. So when I redo it, like I didn't touch it basketball for the longest time. So when I touch it again, I just thought, wow, it's magical. I never thought of it that way. And then the same with playing piano. I dropped it for like 20 years or something. Like I didn't play the music. And then suddenly when I play, I thought, oh, now I have the emotion that I didn't have before when I was a teenager. Right? And then I know how, so everything just coming together. But I'm just so happy that now you have the books and, and guiding others to get out of it instead of, trying to search it, like take a much less time in order to do that, right?
Exactly. And it's amazing how just touching the basketball takes you back to that moment, to that time
Yes.
and place in your life where you felt invigorated and alive and rejuvenated and with
Yes, alive.
purpose
Yes.
and pride. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. No, I'm just so fascinated about, like, what you saying, the steps and the mindset. The mindset is I think is the biggest thing, because if we don't think of the positive side, like I did go through those negative thoughts, right? It is almost obsessive thoughts of those negative things, but had a hard time getting out of those thoughts, right? Until the mindset changed to see things in a different side. But yeah, before I can get out of
Exactly.
it. Because I think
The
when I
mind,
was in the negative state, I just kind of drawn to that state and wanting to stay. I didn't know why. I just feel it was soothing. I don't know why it was soothing to me. Maybe it was some experience that I had experienced a long time ago. Even if it's sadness, I felt soothing, as if I don't know, like a baby crying. Um, I thought it was something that I had experienced before. So as an adult, when I went through that negative state, I thought, oh, it's just part of it, what I had experienced before, and I stay in that state. But when I start thinking about as a teenager, when I was so happy, so I start thinking, revisit the activities that I used to do at that time. Yeah.
that's excellent. And mindset is the very first step in any change that you're going to make in your life, whether it's to be change your career, change your relationships, change your where you live, change with things that you want to change. Everything starts with mindset, whether it be your sleep patterns, your eating patterns, your physical activity patterns. All of it starts with mindset. And when you believe that you can't change, then that's what you believe. Whatever you think and envision is what you can create. So the first step is to start to think, where do you want to go? What do you want to end up being, having, doing? And then start to create those steps to get there. And following a guide, exactly like Heal Your Health, will be such an easier path because everything's already laid out. You don't have to figure it out on your own.
Yes, yes. And I see here in the cover, and it's a quote from Bob Proctor, the best-selling author of You Were Born Rich and teacher in The Secret. What he says is, your good health is waiting for you. What are you waiting for? Dive in and devour this book. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And
Jack
I would,
Canfield, he supports the book as well. And also,
yes,
Jack Canfield was in the movie The Secret. So was Bob Proctor. And of course, Jack
yes.
Canfield is the chicken
Yeah,
soup for the
Jackie,
soul guy. But
yes.
I also just shared the stage with Laurel Langmeyer, and
Ooh,
she too is supporting this book as well. And I'm working closely with her right now.
wow. That's amazing. See how many
It
people you
is.
can help, right? Like I said, I experienced that and I couldn't find a guide. So, but now I think lots of people can benefit and, seeking your help. Right? So,
Thank you.
yes. Can you repeat like what people can, how people can connect with you to get their free gift from you?
Thank you. I have a brand new challenge coming up, 10 down, 10 days.com. So it's 10 DOWN 10days.com,
Mm-hmm.
10 down 10 days.com. That's my brand new challenge that'll be released in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And also, if you would like the book Heal Your Health, simply go to healyourhealthbook.com.
Okay.
HealYourHealthbook.com. And you can order it directly online there, and I can ship it to you and autograph it if you like. You can also see my 2-part video series, Eliminate Your 5 Hidden Energy Drainers. Just go to drstaceycooper.com. drstaceycooper.com.
Yes,
That's it.
we're going to like have the post of all the links below the video. All right. So
Thank you.
So thank you a lot, Dr. Stacey Cooper, and thank you for accepting my invitation to be interviewed today.
Always, Annie. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Best of luck with the 4 pillars of entrepreneurship. It's a beautiful platform, and the knowledge that will be shared will be invaluable to all those that receive it.
Thank you.